So in this lab, you're going to learn how to use X-Plane and PlaneMaker. You're going to just fly a standard Cessna Skyhawk and then modify that Cessna to make it somewhat better so that you can compare the two flights to each other. Knowing how to use this stuff is going to be useful when you go to do your final project. So first, you're going to, with flying just a standard Cessna, you're going to want to go to File, X-Plane 11, and then you'll scroll down to this X-Plane button right here, and you'll let it load. And then once it loads, you can just click through this, and then you'll do New Flight, and then you can see that the Cessna is already highlighted here. But to make sure that your data is saving correctly, you want to go up to this Data Setting Configurations, and then it'll pull up this data output where you can select what you do and don't want to record. So like for example, we have angle of attack, side slip, and pass selected. If we scroll down, we can see some of the other things that I have selected for this flight. So like the climb stats, and then wing lift, drag lift. You don't really need those, but they're okay to have. And then this is a more important one, the lift over drag coefficients are the ones you really want selected. So once you kind of have everything selected that you want to record, you can press done. And then with the Cessna, you just select that one, and then you'll just do start flight and you'll let it load. So once your flight is loaded into X-Plane, your brake will automatically be on. All your flight controls and everything it's going to take some practice to figure out how it all works. Like your yoke, your pedals, what you should do when you're taking off and all of that. So just be patient with that. But once your flight loads, you can turn your brake off and you'll start to move. And then your Cessna always pulls to the left, so you're just going to want to use your right pedal to keep you straight. And then once you start to increase the thrust a little bit, you're going to want to wait until you hit about 60 knots, until you start to pull back to take off. And then you'll pull back the yoke towards you. And then you're just going to do a nice, easy takeoff. You're going to want to gain some altitude so that way when you do your stall angle of attack, you're not going to crash. And just fly for a little bit, and then to do your angle of attack, to find your stall angle of attack, you're going to pull the yoke all the way back towards you. That way you stall out, and then push it immediately back in to pick up speed, and then pull back towards you a little bit to level out your flight. Just like that. And then once you've kind of flown for a little bit, you can go ahead and quit and end your flight. You can also just pause it too and then quit, but you'll quit your flight. And then over here in the X-Plane 11 file, you're going to see a data text document, and make sure that the time kind of matches what time you flew your plane. You open that data file, and then you'll have all your flight data here. Make sure that you save this data between flights so that your data doesn't get overwritten when you do your next flight after you would modify your plane in PlaneMaker. So next, you're going to want to adjust your Cessna in PlaneMaker. So you can go back to the same X-Plane 11 folder and then click on PlaneMaker, and then it'll load up. Just like this. The Cessna is already loaded in here, but if it's not, you'll go to File, Open, and then it's going to load this. And then it's actually going to pull up something like this. And then you're going to want to go to Laminar Research. And then you're just going to want to click on the Cessna. And then you always want to open the ACF file. That's the only way it's going to open in Plane Maker. So once you click on that, it'll render something like this. I always suggest for this lab report to adjust your wings or your tail. So for that, you can go to Standard, and then you have like your wings and your engine and your miscellaneous wings or your fuselage that you can click on to adjust. But for right now, we're just click on the wings, and then you'll see everything over here. So like here you have like the sweep, the dihedral angle, you have the root chord, the tip chord, all of it. So let's say, for example, that we want to adjust the dihedral angle. We'll just increase the dihedral angle by quite a bit. And then once that's done, we'll exit out of this. And then we just want to make sure that it's saved. Yep. And then we'll do File, do Save As, do not do Save, do Save As. And then you'll just name it a new name. So we'll just do Lab. .acf. And then you'll put it back in this laminar research folder, or you can put it under aircraft too, that's fine. Save. So once you've saved your plane to aircraft, the aircraft folder is an ACF file. You'll come back to X-plane, and you'll see usually like a plane with a question mark on it. If you click on it and then hover over it, it'll say like aircraft, like for example, it says aircraft and then lab ACF. So then you know that's your plane, like that's the one that I saved. And then you will just run through the same steps that we did for the original Cessna, where you fly it, get the stall angle of attack, and then you'll save the data, and then that way you have everything you need to write your lab report. Make sure you discuss what changes you made to your plane and then how that changed to flight in your lab reports.